you're wrong. There's nowhere to run, no place you can go, nowhere you can hide, where you won't be found. There's no way on up, hell would have to freeze over twice before I would let you go.
Welcome to a very wet and very cold Norisring here in Germany. Even the grid girls are not wearing their hot pants, but they're wearing pants because it's really cold. Nevertheless, there are 124,000 viewers, so you can see them right there, all the spectators, despite the rain. Why they're here? Because we experienced an exciting race weekend, and here are the highlights. Enjoy.
Thanks very much, Farina. Yes, we're not enjoying the weather at all. The rain gods have served up a wild car here at this street circuit close to the town of Nuremberg. This is always one of the big races of the year. A huge crowd, as has been mentioned, and the spectators can get so close to the track, which we check out now. Yeah, the Hankook animation, just 2.3 kilometres in front of the huge Zeppelin Stadium there. We line up for the quick shoot down to the first and very tight hairpin. And this is the Grundig curve, and they have to be right down the gearbox there from the best part of 260 kilometres an hour on a flying lap. Now accelerate and a quick flick round the back of that Zeppelin Stadium, right and then left. Some overtaking possibilities there on occasion. Then down to the second hairpin, basically running on a street circuit here, a road which services the big football stadium which is in this area. Round this slightly less angled hairpin, past the big lake on the right-hand side, and then back to the start-finish line, a lap of well under a minute. Just 49 seconds there, as you saw on our graphic. So, to confirm, 2.3 kilometres, we should have 82 laps, giving 188 kilometres. Lap record to Bruno Spengler. Check out qualifying. Well, this has always been a Mercedes-Benz track, and that was the case again, with Mercedes-Benz in the top three places, and for the fourth time in 5 races. The man who put it on the pole was Bruno Spengler.
It's very difficult to make a big difference here in Norisring, and I think I got almost 2 tenths in front of the second one on Q4 lap. So I'm very, very happy. It was a pretty good lap. A little mistake at the chicane, but I didn't lose too much time. Was a bit on the limit.
Spengler's teammate Gary Paffett quite conservative on his run, and it took him to the second position on the grid.
As always at the Norisring, the times are incredibly close, and lucky enough we had a very good car today. I was always able to be close to the front of the times. In Q4 I didn't push to the maximum, so I was a little bit conservative. That's probably why I didn't get as good a time as Bruno, but I got P2, which was good.
Jamie Green wasn't conservative. He had a lock-up. Here's the man who has won this race for the past 3 years. Q3 for him.
Yeah, qualifying went very well for me. I was P2 in Q3. Unfortunately, in Q4, I locked the front brakes at turn 1, and that cost me time. But overall, I'm happy, and I've got a good chance to get my 4th win in a row here at the Norisring tomorrow. So it's really positive, and I'm looking forward to it.
The only Audi amongst the Mercedes-Benz, Matthias Ekstrom, the Swede. He also had a big lock-up, and therefore he qualified in 4th place.
Yeah, I mean, I had a really good Q1, Q2, Q3. Quick laps and everything was good. And then in Q4, I made a mistake braking for turn 1. A little bit colder brakes than normal, and when I hit the pedal, it just locked the front left a bit. And sure, that was disappointing, not to come home with something better than P4 after we've been so quick.
Well, yes, the rain coming down. Ralf Schumacher was on the pole here last year. Remember, he jumped the start. This time he qualified 5th. Timo Scheider, well, he was in 7th place. He is, of course, the championship leader. And here he is in the yellow and green Audi.
Unfortunately, we had big problems with the tires. That means we don't get the grip out of the tire like we expected, and like it was planned from our side.
Mike Rockenfeller, great to have him back after that huge shunt at Le Mans, but very disappointing qualifying, only in 17th place.
Well, very disappointing. It's nice to be back, but to be in the last row is just unbelievable. I was really slow the whole weekend. Just in the rain, it was good. But yeah, I think the only thing which can help is some heavy rain tomorrow. So under wet conditions, I think I can make some places up, but not in the dry. I think in the dry, the weekend is over.
So let's check out. There's the top 10, Spengler and Paffett, then Green, Ekstrom. And then, look, 2 more Mercedes-Benz, Ralf Schumacher, Maro Engel qualified well, Timo Scheider, Edo Mortara, Molina. And then going down all the way to Rahal Frey. And Mike Rockenfeller couldn't understand why he was in 17th place. Disappointment for him. But everyone very close. There's Norbert Haug with his 2 boys on the front row of the grid. Well, remember, Mike Rockenfeller has been a winner this season, and the likeable young man, of course, a winner also at Le Mans last year, but this year, what a different story. That huge accident in the night, an impact at over 200 miles an hour. Mike missed the previous race in the DTM, but he's back now and feeling strong, and hope to be back in the winner's circle in the pretty near future.
I'm now here with Mike Rockenfeller. Mike, now yesterday in the qualifying, you ended up in P17. What went wrong?
Well, obviously I was too slow. I was really struggling with the car, especially with the grip. I didn't feel any peak of the tire, and therefore it was for me impossible to go any quicker. We all know it's very close here on the Norisring, and yeah, I was not happy the whole weekend, and yesterday in qualifying it was very early over for me, which was not usual. I mean, so far P5 was our worst result this year in qualifying, and then to be in the last row is pretty bad, especially when you come back, and you miss one race. Then to come back and be in the last row is hard, but today is another day, and I try my best.
Now, 3 weeks ago, you had a terrible accident in Le Mans. All our hearts stopped for a second when we saw that. Have you completely recovered?
Well, if you look on the qualifying result, it looks like I'm not, but I really feel good, and it's not about the crash. I think I'm fully recovered, and I had enough time. Yeah, and hopefully the pace will come back as well, and we will find a good setup for today's race. But definitely it was a big incident, a big crash in Le Mans, and I hope I will never have it again in my career.
And now looking at the race today, starting from P17, are you hoping for a little miracle or maybe just for a bit of rain?
Well, I think I need a big miracle. I need, especially on this racetrack, it's difficult to make up positions. But you never know. Maybe the weather will help me. Maybe a safety car at the right time will help me. But the good thing is, it can't be a lot worse. So I don't have a lot of pressure. I just try to be quick and hopefully be more in the front or maybe even in the points.
All right. Well, best of luck. Thank you very much, Mike.
Terribly wet conditions here for round 5 of the DTM at the Norisring, and Verena Wright is down there on the grid with the pole sitter.
And now I'm here with Bruno Spengler, starting in pole, which is excellent. Obviously, it's your 4th pole and it's only the 5th race. What's your feeling for the race?
Well, yesterday was a great day for sure. Today the condition seems to be a bit difficult, but I will do my best. It's the same for everybody, and we were on Friday quite good in the rain, so if I can get everything together, make no mistakes, try and win the race for sure. It's going to be tough today with these conditions, definitely.
And speaking of tough, we just heard that it's going to be a start with a safety car. What do you say about that? Does it make it more difficult?
I think it's a good idea because there's a lot of water on this track before turn 1 on the straight, and we are quite quick there. So it's a very good idea to start behind the safety car for the safety for everybody. So, but it's still a long race. There can happen a lot of things afterwards, but that's already a good thing to start it behind the safety car.
Yeah, it'll be 5 laps behind the safety car. They'll get a feel for the conditions. There is Spengler putting in the earplugs. He has dropped back to second place in the championship now, 3 points behind, I should say, Martin Tomczyk, who has won the past 2 races. There's Gary Paffett. He's been a previous winner on this tricky little street circuit. May be short, may only have 4 corners, but it is difficult. Jamie Green then, now in one of the current Mercedes-Benz rather than the old 08 chassis, which gave him 3 victories in the past. Matthias Ekstrom still waiting for his set of tyres, trying to keep them with a bit of temperature in them prior to the start. Ekstrom, the only Audi really mixed in amongst 5 Mercedes-Benz. Ralf Schumacher, last year on the pole, as I said, jumped the start by just a fraction of a second. There's Maro Engel's car, and Maro looking good all through practice and qualifying. The second Audi down in 7th place. It's the 2-time DTM champion, Timo Scheider. He would love to do well here. Should mention also that Bruno Spengler has won here in the past. This is DTM rookie Edo Mortara, the former Formula 3 champion who has won on this track. In those cars, here's Martin Tomczyk, disappointingly down in 10th place. Martin having such a good run this year. There's Mike Rockenfeller having a chat just before the start, surviving that high-speed accident at Le Mans. Just had 3 weeks to recover. Looking down on the various sports facilities here, the football stadium, the arena where they have ice hockey, the running track as well, you can see there. But we're concentrating on the start of this race. Lights are out now on the pace car after 5 slow laps. Everybody weaving to try and get temperature into those Hankook tyres, waiting for the green lights. Yellow flag still waving. They'll come round the lake hairpin towards the start finish line. There they should see the green lights, and it'll be go. Off they go. Everybody disappears into a ball of spray behind Spengler. Paffett, Green, Ekstrom, Schumacher, Engel, Scheider, Mortara. Anybody moving up a bit further down? Can they get their braking right for the Grundig hairpin? It appears so. No dive bombers down the inside this time. Well, moved by David Coulthard. David Coulthard in the yellow car. Maybe took a couple of places. Mike Rockenfeller in the other yellow car right near the back. And Ray Alfrey brings up the field of 18 cars. And Bruno Spengler seems to have pulled out 5 or 6 car lengths. Look at Ralf Schumacher with the orange bonnet looking racy. Look at Engel, and Timo Scheider goes past him under brakes in the Auto Test Audi. Engel, who qualified so well, drops behind Scheider. The lead already 1.1 seconds. Jamie Green, 3 times a winner here in succession, is in 3rd place. Vitoris 13th, Van der Zande 14th. Mike Rockenfeller hasn't made any progress up. Oh, and a spin there. I think that was Oliver Jarvis going round. I'm sure we'll see a replay of that. There is Ollie, spins it back round again. Disappointment for Oliver Jarvis. You see all that dirt on the inside there? That used to be on the other side of the Armco as well, and people used to slip on that. Let's look at this incident then, and Molina just closes in on Jarvis and catches his front, spins the Audi around. Jarvis left pointing in the wrong direction, beautifully executes a flick turn, lost a little bit of bodywork, and look at Tomczyk, he's on the move. Tomczyk trying to get past Engel, pulls out the slipstream, side by side. Now we've got the tricky right and left, which takes them behind the back of the Zeppelin Stadium. Down at the hairpin, Engel just loses his brakes, and Tomczyk just really pushed him into that. And so Tomczyk moves up. Well, we can see it again, looking down. See, it goes right before the hairpin left. Tomczyk was on the right line, Engel was left out on the outside, and the Phoenix Racing crew certainly enjoying that. Here's David Coulthard getting stuck in with Molina, the Spaniard, in his second year in the DTM. Gary Paffett being chased there by Ekstrom and the other Red Bull car. And Gary's sponsors are based in Nuremberg. They've got a lot of guests here. But Spengler now has pulled out a 2-second lead. And the track is not exactly drying up, but the rain has ceased to fall. So these big fat tyres will dry it up quite quick if it stays like that. But we've had waves of rain coming over all through the day. Here's David Coulthard. Coulthard now in 10th place. Stoddard in the red, Stoddard and Rockenfeller in 14th and 15th. Van der Zande in the red car. The pink car, of course, is Susie Stoddard. Albuquerque, we haven't mentioned him, in the bright blue car. He's right near the back of the field. The man who won the Race of Champions the end of last year. He'll be looking forward to that show event in Munich in 2 weeks' time. Ekstrom, of course, the other man who's done so well in the Race of Champions. Everyone on the rain tyres, nobody even tempted to try the slicks. Yellow flag, oh bang! Look at that, Gary Paffett straight into that unyielding wall. Coming out of the Scholler S. Heavy hit there, lots of bits of bodywork. Already there's a service car coming down. And Norbert Haug looks on from the management area. I think Gary is okay. Bang into the wall. It looked to me if maybe something mechanical happened there in the steering. Did not look like a normal sort of accident, just understeering off. It seems to be on the right trajectory to make the corner to start with. But then it was a wild ride into the wall. Huge disappointment for Gary Paffett. Sort of bounced off the wall like that, and then sort of dug in again, and a second time into the wall, and the door came off in the middle of all that. So a heavy hit, but thankfully Gary Paffett perfectly okay, climbs from the car, and Verena will find out what happened.
What exactly happened? You hit the wall twice out of nowhere. What happened?
Yeah, so basically I turned into turn 3 in the Scholler S, and as I turned in, the car just didn't turn like it was the laps before. The car just didn't turn. I couldn't turn the car into the corner, and just went straight into the wall. And you know, as it hit the wall, it obviously broke something, and I had no steering after that. So yeah, we don't know what happened yet, obviously, but very disappointing.
Yeah, I'm sure the team will be checking that out. It looked to me as if that wasn't a driver error. Green versus Ekstrom now, fight for P2. 2 or 3 already made pit stops, including Mortara. But Ekstrom looking good in the rain here. And battling for second place. Tries to find a space to go round the outside down at the lake hairpin, but not enough room. Ekstrom always strong on the brakes now. Across those white lines, they're very slippery indeed. And they are actually parking spaces for the football stadium, the Easy Credit Stadium as it's known. Green versus Ekstrom, battle for second place. Spengler still in the lead. Trying to get as much traction as possible. Grandstand seats full here. Very easy to get to the racetrack, jump on a train, and the station is just 100 yards away from this racetrack. These streets are, as I said, mainly used just to drive down to the football stadium these days. Round that hairpin again, overlooked by the big Grundig building. Green and Ekstrom battling over second place. How much would Green like to make it 4 wins in a row here? Although he's done 3 in a row, it's not unique. It was done back in the early 90s. Then by Alfa Romeo in the days when they were in the DTM. Look at that, great camera shot. Poking through the Armco barrier. There's Ralf Schumacher having another good, strong race here. Spengler, Green, Ekstrom, Ralf Schumacher in 4th from Timo Scheider and Tomczyk. Then it's Engel. And then David Coulthard is in the points. Remember, David's only had the 1 point scoring race in the DTM. That was the final round last year on the streets of Shanghai. And David, of course, a twice winner of the Monaco Grand Prix. Bit of a street racing expert. Flicking right and left behind the stadium. Van der Zande with flames flicking out the back of the car. Spectacular fireworks there from the V8 Mercedes motor. There is Martin Tomczyk. And Martin, if the result stays like this, will lose the lead of the championship. It will go back in the way of Spengler, but a long way to come yet. Scheider, Tomczyk battling over this 5th spot. All down the gearbox again. Right down to first from very fast run in, and pit stop there for the car which actually won this race the last 3 years. This is the car that Jamie Green used to drive. Christian Vittoris now at the wheel. Needs a little shove to get it back on its way. Very slippy pit lane, and those garages are new to the Norisring. They're temporary garages. They are actually the ones that we used in Shanghai, and as a result of that, we've had a new paddock layout this year. But it gives the boys a lot more working space. In the past, they used to have to work out of the back of the truck, sort of American racing style. Yeah, just didn't appear to engage gear there. Lost a second or two. Look at Engel here on the charge. And Engel really trying to make a move on Mortara in the Playboy car. Mortara hard on the brakes, doesn't leave any room for Engel, although he did miss the apex of the bend. So Mortara, there he is now. Oh, and pretty boisterous stuff with Engel, and they had a bit of a barging match in the previous round, and that's a payback time, I think. Timo Scheider into the pits, 3.1 seconds, and that's a very quick stop in these difficult conditions. Well, like I said, I thought I'd seen the track just slightly drying out, but now we've had another wave of rain. You can see how wet and slippery it is. Spengler still in the lead from Green and Ekstrom. Now Schumacher still in 4th, and 2 of them peel off. But one of them, certainly Spengler, peels off into the pits. So the leader is in. He will drop down the field temporarily. They're down to 5th. Coulthard, was it there going wide, or was it Rocky? Spengler with a fresh set of wet tyres on. And accelerates away. Lost a second there. So Green currently shown as the leader, but only just from Ekstrom, is really charging hard, trying to find a way past the Leicestershire driver. Quite a bit of news this weekend, incidentally. Gary Paffett has signed a... no, I thought that the Red Bull car was going past Jamie Green, but he didn't seem to make it. I was just about to give you that little bit of news that Gary Paffett has signed a long-term contract to stay with Mercedes-Benz. Remember, BMW will be in the DTM next year. They might be trying to hire a driver or two. And Ekstrom goes deeper to try and get a bit of extra drive. Meanwhile, we've got Jarvis there, who's about to be lapped down in 14th place. And this battle getting tied up behind those two back markers, and they're rubbing paintwork again. And in the process, Ekstrom goes through. Ekstrom taking the advantage there. Meanwhile, the other two that are about to be lapped got away, and that was Jarvis and Susie Stoddard. And that's interesting. Another pit stop from Timo Scheider. Timo Scheider with a very short middle sector. And these wet weather tyres do take quite a time to come up to temperature. So rather than get two sets up to temperature, he's just done a very short middle stint, and then that maybe it will help him. Good strategy there by Timo Scheid and his crew as Ralf Schumacher comes in. The top three yet to make their pit stops. Where will they cycle back into the field when they have made those stops? Schumacher there, another quick one, 3.2. Again, our helicopter shots. And our helicopter shot shows that Jamie Green is back in front of the Red Bull car of Ekstrom. And now we can see exactly what happened there. We're looking down. And Ekstrom comes across Jarvis and just nipping through on the title line. Jamie Green goes back in front of him and no doubt has a smile on his face. Great racing here at the Norisring. More pits action too. Just after halfway through this race, as far as the laps are concerned, but because of the actual lap times, this will be a time race. There's a maximum amount of time the race can end. And I think that will be invoked. So they won't go the full distance of 82. I'm sure of that. Jamie Green coming back out. There is Spengler. And Spengler out in front of Green. So when Ekstrom and Tomczyk have stopped, Spengler will be back at the front as Jamie Green goes wide of that hairpin, as does Ralf Schumacher, as does, I think that's Rahal Frey down there in 17th spot. Ekstrom, we understand, just making a pit stop right now. Here he comes. Leaves just Tomczyk out. So how will Tomczyk's strategy work? Where will he come back in when he makes his stop? And the rain is coming down. Everybody twitching around on this street circuit. They're always notoriously slippy. Ekstrom stop in the A4 Audi. Just with a couple more news stories, Audi have said that their next year's DTM car will be the A5 Audi shape, not the A4 shape. On Saturday, officials showed off the new monocoque, the carbon fibre monocoque, which will serve as the chassis for all three manufacturers. They'll hang their own bits, bodywork, etc. onto that car. No photos allowed of that chassis. We all had to sign a waiver saying we wouldn't photograph it. I can tell you it was black. Tomczyk then coming in now will drop back down the field, probably come back in at about 4th or 5th place, I think. Good strategy then by the Phoenix crew. Been very busy, boys. We're running cars, of course, last weekend at the Nürburgring 24 hours. Here is Tomczyk coming out then. Who is he going to come out between? Behind Green and in front of Ekstrom. But Ekstrom dives to the inside. Tomczyk's tyre's not up to temperature. Ekstrom goes through. What about Ralf Schumacher? Can he get some drive out of that corner? No, I think he's going to have to fall behind Tomczyk. Tomczyk Certainly keeping up with his fellow Audi. That's the back of that great big Zeppelin tribune or stadium, if you will. Little flick to the right before they break down for the hairpin in front of this huge man-made lake. You can quite see it from that helicopter shot. It was dug some 500 years ago. Just get a shot of it there. And then you see the nature of this circuit. Yes, that is Ekstrom making his second stop. So rain beats down here. Horrible conditions for everyone. Interested to see where he comes out. Can he rejoin ahead of Timo Scheider? There he goes. Rear wheels fighting for grip. Audi famous for four-wheel drive, but it's not allowed in the DTM. So rear-wheel drive only. Many years ago, Audi did race in the DTM with four-wheel drive. It's again, I think Donovan Jarvis goes wide. And, well, that's an unusual line. And so too does the Red Bull car of Ekstrom. There is Rockenfeller. Certainly can't be enjoying his comeback too much, down in 12th place. There's Martin Tomczyk. Tomczyk in for his second pit stop. There, that pits block, temporary pits block here. We're in the southeast of Germany, not that far from Munich, not that far from the Czech Republic border either. Tomczyk coming out. And through the murk, we can see Timo Scheider, and we go on board with him. Timo Scheider tries to get around the inside and very nearly hits the green and yellow car of Tomczyk. That was also close. Jarvis getting involved as well, although he's a lap behind. He's now shown in 10th place. He has to make another pit stop. So quite a lot of inter-Audi warfare going out on the racetrack at the moment. There's Timo Scheider, twice a DTM champion. Of course, the reigning champion, Paul de Resta, had a terrible race here last year. In fact, it was one of the worst of his season. Did not really help him on his way to his DTM title. Paul, of course, now racing for Force India. There you see how they're just basically the either side of a dual carriageway. Rain on our lens now, showing that it is getting wetter and wetter out there. Difficult conditions. They're coping with it pretty well. We just had the one incident when Paffett went into the wall, which I'm pretty sure was a problem in the steering of the car. Spengler green, Ralf Schumacher. We've got Tomczyk and Timo Scheider, Ekstrom down there, having made their second stops. They will move up. Vitoris just comes in. There is Engel, who's dropped down the field now. He's made two stops though in the GQ black and white Mercedes. And I think this is Spengler's crew getting ready. 54 laps in the book. Spengler into the pit lane, onto the pit speed limiter, pushes the button, trundles down there towards his crew. And we, meanwhile, switch back to Martin Tomczyk. There, the whole thing overseen by his engineer Sven. And then he accelerates out again. That puts green at the top of the pile just for the moment. Ralf Schumacher second, Mortara third. It won't last that way very long. And again, it's changing. This braking for this hairpin really is causing people problems. Fortunately, there's a great runoff area down into those car parking spaces you see. All sorts of incidents here in the Formula 3 races. There's Martin Tomczyk, just about make out the red rear lights of that Audi A4. Green then into the pits in the silver-plated, if you will, Mercedes-Benz. Colour scheme that used to be run last year by Ralf Schumacher. Got a silver foil all over the car. Green goes out in 3.4 seconds. Mortara has his moment of glory at the front of the field. But he certainly has been the best rookie this year. Again, we look down on that hairpin of this little 2.3 kilometre street circuit. I started racing here back in 1947, and very much a fixture of the DTM for so long. And the A4 Audi has never won here. The Audi TT did win with Laurent Aiello when Audi weren't officially in the championship, but the actual A4 model has never won around this track. It's been Mercedes, Mercedes, Mercedes. Of course, for the last 3 years, with the man who is currently shown in 6th place, Jamie Green, at the wheel. But Jamie's going to struggle now, I think, if he is going to make it 4 in a row. But in conditions like this, well, anything can happen. Albuquerque just accelerating out. Spengler running some very strong lap times considering the conditions. There's Tomczyk. So when all the second pit stops have been completed, I think it's going to be Spengler, Green, Tomczyk, Timo Scheider, Ekstrom. Van der Zande just making a pit stop now. He's dropping back. Engelby in 9th. What about David Coulthard? I'm not quite sure where he'll cycle back in. Safety car, they put the safety car out. Everyone will hold station. I don't think we're quite at 75% yet. When the race gets to 75%, then it will count for full points. Pit stops, though, as the safety car flag comes out. What about the strategies here? Will that make any substantial difference to these guys? Hopefully they won't be held at the pit out. Yellow flags waving. No, they are on track. Mortara with Ralf Schumacher behind him. So Spengler, Green, Tomczyk, Timo Scheider, Mortara, Ralf Schumacher, then Ekstrom. Ekstrom, unfortunately, shuffled back in all those pit stops. So strong early in the race. And I suspect what will happen is that they will follow the pace car until we get to 3/4 distance, and then they will wave the red flag. So I'm pretty sure that what we see now is what we're going to get when the race is over. And that is disappointing, but the rain really started to tip it down even more. And by their own admittance, these Hankook wet weather tyres are not made for torrential conditions. They're a light to medium rain tyre, but we've got much more than medium rain today. Let's have a look how the water is dispersed from them. Well, pretty well, but sure, cars are twitching and sliding and aquaplaning around. There is Jarvis in 15th place. Ollie has had some good runs this season. .59 laps in the book at the moment. Oh, Rahal Frey runs over a bit of bodywork, and that's been there ever since Gary Paffett ploughed into the wall. We've looked down through the cloud and the mist. Well, I think they're going to stop it soon. Yeah, the race has been stopped. The race here at the Norisring, because of the torrential conditions has been stopped. 75% of the race completed, so 4 points will be awarded. The track simply too dangerous for racing, so the cars will return to the pits. And Bruno Spengler takes win number 3 of the season, puts himself back at the top of the championship chart. Jamie Green's last 4 years go first, and second. Martin Tomczyk very much stays in the hunt of the title. Good run there, up to third place from 10th position. So, a race really here at the Norisring, spoiled by the weather. Normally we have very hot conditions here, but not today. And Bruno Spengler is a man who knows how to celebrate, but that's new. Moonwalking back into the door of his Mercedes-Benz.
So now I'm here with Bruno. Bruno, congratulations. I saw tears in your eyes, well deserved. And first question I need to ask, that moonwalk, did you practice that in the mirror?
I practiced it a little bit in Norbert in a few parties, that's why. That's why I didn't come out earlier, but anyway, it was a really difficult race today. The conditions were very tough at the beginning also. Thanks to the race directors, they did the right decisions today with the safety car at the right moment and helped us really. How they did was really good, and thanks to my team also, my car was amazing in the race. Even in these hard conditions, the strategy was really good. Everything worked well, so I'm really, really happy of this victory.
Yeah, the rain's still coming down. Good win for Bruno Spengler, but what about the man who finished in second place?
You certainly did a fantastic job. How tough was this race?
Very tough. You know, every lap was a challenge. Being on the limit at Norisring is really tough with the high-speed braking into the hairpins, and it's so easy to make mistakes in the dry, let alone the wet. So obviously wet conditions is a massive challenge, and I struggled a bit in the first stint at the beginning, but then my pace improved and I could close down Bruno. So I was pretty quick during the race and quite happy with my performance. Obviously I would have liked the win, but it's still a good day for me and the Mercedes team in general.
That's Christina Serra, Martin Tomczyk's partner and a racer herself. Good drive from Martin, from 10th to 3rd.
Yeah, I'm here with a very happy Martin. Where did you come from? Out of the middle of nowhere, you were all of a sudden you were there. Now, 3rd place, congratulations. You lost your lead, but nevertheless, are you happy about this?
Definitely. I mean, starting from 10th position, I think it was a fabulous race. The conditions were really good for us, or for me. And actually I really didn't know about the positioning, so I just did my race, just did my lap times, did my pit stops, and actually it worked really well. And at the end I saw position 3. Unfortunately they cancelled the race, but safety reason, or safety first, it was the right decision, but actually my car was really fast. And yes, finally 3rd position. Congratulations to Mercedes, 1st and 2nd place, well done, but we will fight back.
There, the championship positions now. Spengler back on top with 39, Tomczyk on 36, Timo Scheider on 24, and Jamie Green on 21.
It's fantastic. After the 6th place in Zandvoort, we're back on top. On top for me means for me top 5, top 6 is already like, for me it's a victory, and I need still to evolve as a driver in this category. And I proved today that I could be fast also on rain. I had a good pace. And then for the situation with Maro, you know, like I said in German, we had a contact in Spielberg. He pushed me out. He made me lose like a great opportunity in Spielberg. He pushed me out in Lausitzring. Also here, I think we lost maybe 1 point or 2. Here, we under rain conditions, you know, he made a small mistake. He was the only one to use a strange line in the last corner. I went inside the corner and I was there side by side and we touched. But I think for me, there was really no intention at all to push him or to make contact with him. And then if contacts happen, you know, with him it's always really difficult. He's a bit too aggressive, I think. But yeah.
Well, he wasn't very happy, but the stewards ignored it anyway. The bubbly sprays, and we can find out now the thoughts of the winning team boss. It is, of course, Norbert Haug, who will be horse.
Well, it's 4 points and a great race, good result for Bruno. He's in the lead in the championship, well deserved.
And the driver said it was too dangerous to drive in the street, so do you think it's a right?
It was flooded. I mean, it was monsoon. It was the right decision to stop.
The crowd heads home, but we can hear from the Audi team boss, Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, not too disappointed.
How do you feel about this race? I mean, a lot happened there. It was a pretty crazy race.
I mean, it was a crazy race, and yeah, we tried to be aggressive with our strategy, which basically was not too bad working out, especially for Martin. Eki was at about a third of the race, quite close to the Mercs, and had a good chance. He overtook basically Jamie, and Jamie re-overtook him. So I think it was great for the spectators. At the end, we made a quick stop with the second pit stop, so we've been running a new tire only for a short number of laps because it takes a lot of time to bring the tire into working. And we hoped that it would work out then at the end, but then the heavy rain came, and it was a right decision from the race director to put the safety car out and at the end to cancel it because the rain was so heavy that there was aquaplaning on the straights, and this is just too dangerous.
Yeah, from a wet Norisring, it's Andrew Marriott saying goodbye, and a final word from Verena Wright.
I did mention this was a very exciting race weekend. It was crazy and it was cold and wet. It did not feel like a summer's day, believe me, but we saw a brilliant race here. Fantastic job for Mercedes-Benz with Spengler winning it and Green in second place, and Martin Tomczyk for Audi secured third place, which was brilliant, coming all the way from P10, but he did lose his lead now. So I'm pretty sure that beginning of August we're going to see a very exciting battle between Spengler and Tomczyk, and also Scheider and Green will be there ready to attack, because in the second half, which will be starting at the Nürburgring, anything is possible. So see you then. Bye-bye.